Hi, welcome to Healing Together as One. Today we are talking about why healing is not working for you. And I can relate. I was going to counseling for on and off for 20 years. I read hundreds of self-help books. I practiced meditating. I went to different modalities of therapy, EMDR, talk therapy, CBT therapy. I changed my food. I changed my routines. I joined groups. I did meditation groups. I joined healing groups. I tried energy healing. I did all of it. And it seemed to make a little progress here and there, but the old patterns just kept coming back and it never seemed to all the way stick. And it almost seemed like at times in my life that it was getting worse. But I have found a method that does work, and I've tried it, and I am showing you living proof that this healing method works and it stays. In the moment, those therapies, those self-help books, the meditation, it helps. The breathing exercises. It's just like if you get a cut and you put a Band-Aid on it, or if you have a headache and so you take some ibuprofen. But we don't know where the root of the problem is, and the Band-Aid is going to cover your wound, so at the time it's safe and maybe more comfortable, but that has to heal from the inside out. And that is the only real way to heal and stay healed, remain healed. But trauma is something that is stuck in the body. And trauma doesn't have to be something major. Trauma can be something little, or what we perceive to be little, or what we perceive to be major. It is what you perceive. And if we don't allow the energy to flow through, if we don't allow the emotions to get fully processed through the body, they stick and they keep coming back. And the reason why is that we have these things that we call triggers. And a trigger is something that is similar to the circumstance or the thing or the idea or the person or the place or the animal that we didn't fully process with emotion. My first example of this is you have a car. Let's say it's a black Chrysler. That's what I was driving. And I'm driving along, and then I get to the stop sign, and suddenly, boof, behind me. I look in my rearview mirror, and someone slammed into the back of my car, and the car happens to be red. So I am freaking out because I am late for work, and somebody just hit my car, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And I go through this whole entire thing, and whatever happens during this circumstance, but not realizing that in the back of my head, in my brainstem, because I didn't have time to process this and go through it, stuck in my brainstem is red car, dangerous, and it gets stored there. So now my body is going to react every time there is a red car going by, and I don't even realize this pattern got stuck there, which is a survival technique that we were born with in order to keep us alive. Something dangerous is coming at us, and we need to be able to, like that, respond, right? So it's not even a response, it's a reaction. And we need to be able to react quickly to keep us alive. So because I didn't process this, the red car gets put in my brainstem. And for some reason, every time I see a red car, I think, I don't like those. Oh, Lila, you think that too? Red cars, not good. I'm just kidding. If you have a red car, that was just an example. It's not true. But Lila doesn't care what color car you have. She'll take any car. So another thing is that comes up a lot with people that I'm talking with is bad relationship patterns. So if we think about the car situation, this would be something that happens to people in relationships. For example, we don't know it, but when we're really little, before the age of 8, everything that goes on around us in our environment, the people talking, the events that go on, everything is stored in our brainstem because we're in this state of almost like we're in a hypnotic state. And so most of the things that go on when we're younger get stored in our brainstem, just like the red car incident where the car hit us and we didn't have time to process. We don't process our emotions fully when we're a child, and we witness people arguing, and I'll say our parents are arguing in front of us, and they have this huge argument, and maybe they argue a lot, and this gets stored in our brainstem. And so we unconsciously, because it's stored there to keep us alive when we're children, that's very scary, it's traumatic, and so it stores it like the red car in the back of our brain, in our brainstem. We are repeating these same patterns because we've witnessed them and we don't even realize we're doing it. And so these same triggers are coming up and these same patterns are happening over and over and over again. When we look at other people and we have these relationship patterns, you can think about this now, about certain people in your life, and they keep repeating the same relationship pattern, but it's different than your pattern. Your pattern is specific to you because it is your trauma that didn't get processed. Their pattern is specific to them because it is their trauma that didn't get processed. How do we change our patterns? How do we process the emotions? I have the method that will work, and I'm going to tell you why it works. It's called the restore method. So we're talking about trauma being stored and our fight and flight response being turned on. That is to save our life. So just to back up a little bit with your relationship patterns or your pattern of hating red cars, if that's you, okay, that's me. I, for some reason, don't like red cars, and I'm assuming there was a car accident with a red car at one point in my life, okay? So we are getting into these patterns, and why does that happen? Because your body is loving you, and your body is keeping you alive by triggering you when this happens. So in your relationship, here's an example in a relationship pattern. Your significant other, your partner, whenever they're done eating, they set the dishes by the dishwasher, maybe even in the sink somewhere, and they don't put them away. And for some reason, when you look at that, your whole body goes into fight or flight, and you don't know why, and you start to turn into the wicked witch of the east or the west, or I don't know which one, but you turn into something that starts yelling because the dishes weren't put away. But what is the actual big deal about that? Because a dish on the counter is not going to kill anyone. Nobody's in harm's way. But I'm overreacting like it is. I'm like, hey, you got to put that dish away. Why didn't you do that? It's right there. And I'm freaking out. And the reason is, when I was younger, my parents got into an argument about dishes. So I'm repeating the pattern because I didn't know. I was triggered by the dishes. I thought it was life or death because they were arguing and yelling. And that meant if they separated or something happened to one of them, that I wouldn't have a roof over my head. So this makes sense now. Why putting the dish on the counter is such a big deal. Or why I hate red cars. Because my body is trying to just keep me alive, and that's a good thing. I'm not making a mistake. You're not making a mistake. You didn't do anything wrong. But we need to resolve this issue because it is an issue. It's not working for us, and that's why we're here. That's why we're watching these YouTube videos and healing ourselves. So without judgment, We are able to heal ourselves without judgment. The explaining of the red car and the relationship issue with the dishes is to let you know that you haven't done anything wrong. You're not in trouble. You can heal. It will happen. I know it will. And I've seen it happen. I've seen people's lives change. My own life has changed drastically, which means everyone around me is changing because I'm changing. It will happen. I promise it. You're not going to judge yourself because it's not your fault that you get triggered by certain things. Every single trigger, every single pattern has a trace back to an origin somewhere. And we have a way now to find that origin and to resolve this issue so that we can break those patterns and rewire our brains so that we're not triggered by these same things over and over again. But there is a new way, and it's called the Restore Method. And I told you I would tell you about it, and I'm telling you about it now. Number 1 of the Restore Method is to relax. When we start with relax, we do some breathing exercises, and I do a body scan in order to relax the body, because when our bodies are not in fight or flight, when they are relaxed, they can receive, and they are able to come back to that brainstem trigger point and receive the new information in order to be rewired. So we relax first. The second thing we do is we explore the body and we scan down and find any tension. Emotions are stored in the body from whatever age you were. They are stored there and they start to manifest as pain, as discomfort, as intrusive thoughts. So we explore the body for intrusive thoughts, for any discomfort in the body, for anything that doesn't feel quite right and whole. And then we go into a point that I call settling into the heart space. When we get into those pain points, sometimes it can be uncomfortable. So we use this settle in piece to go into our heart space and think of loving memories, to trigger loving memories and a loving response. And we not only feel that in our own bodies, but we share that out to each other. So I share it with you, you share it with me, and we just share it out and receive it back. So we are a community working together, because it is stated in the Bible, wherever 2 or more are gathered, that's where the healing takes place. That's not a direct quote, but that is in the Bible. So we do this together because we have someone witnessing us. And when we have a witness to healing, it does something different. And I don't know why, but it does. So the 4th step is we take this pain, and I do this thing where I like to pretend to or imagine pulling it out of the body and having a conversation with it. So we talk to this pain, we bring it up, and this could get a little bit uncomfortable when we're talking with it. That's why we did our heart space first, and we can always come back to that heart space. If anytime you start to feel really uncomfortable, we take a little break, we go back to the heart space, and we have 2 things. We have the conversation with the pain, but we also have our heart space there together. But we continue to talk to the pain, which leads us into the next step, step number 5, which is going back to the origin. So we go back and remember the first time we remember feeling this pain. This is where guided intuition comes in. So you allow your intuition to take over and remember the first time that you felt this pain. Now, for some people, this can be a little difficult to go back and remember, and that is okay. And if you can't remember any time and go back to the point of origin, this method will still work. So I don't want you to worry that you're not able to use your intuition to go back. Step 6 is we go back to that point of origin, we connect the 2, and step 6 is to recognize the lesson. Now, here's where the real healing takes place. The healing is happening, but when we can recognize a lesson from our trauma, from our unresolved emotions, that is a perspective shift. And the only real way to be able to heal is to change your perspective. And when we recognize the lesson in this pain, then the shift happens and we change that pain into something helpful. We take this painful time and put it in with this helpful lesson, and then it comes together for the last step to embody this lesson back in. What I want you to know is that you're never getting rid of anything. You're not stopping, you're not trying, you're not forcing. You are changing a perspective and then bringing it back in to the wholeness and oneness of who you are. Because the truth is, you are never broken. There is nothing wrong with you. You are perfect in every way that you are right now. And when we just change the perspective of what we're looking at, you can recognize, you can recognize the wholeness, and that's where you heal. So here is the method. This is the explaining of exactly how it works. I hope that this was very helpful for you. I know it has been for me. I know it works, and I really look forward to working with you. Check out any of my videos on the website. I have a bunch of demonstrations of me actually going through the restore method so that you can follow along. And if you would like to meet with me one-on-one, I have a link in the description and on my homepage in YouTube. I look forward to working with you. Thank you so much for being here. Have a great day.